Good morning, everybody. It is December 19, 2021. This is Man Coverage. This is Knoxville Nate and the coach, Rico McCoy. Good morning, Coach. How are you today?
Hey, man, I'm blessed. How are you, Nate?
Hey, I'm doing all right, buddy. I'm hanging in, getting ready for the holidays. We had our holiday party on Friday at the office, and I am definitely fatter. We went to the Brazilian steakhouse where they just bring you meat and
Which one did you go to?
Brazerios.
Oh yeah, I used to live right around the corner from that spot.
Buddy, let me tell you what. They just bring you meat till you get the meat sweats.
You get the lamb and the pineapple at the end, and that
oh my gosh,
bread that they have.
I couldn't eat there every day, but it's once every year, every couple years, pretty good stuff. I got to tell you, it was awesome. But we got a lot going on. I know a lot of the games have wrapped up, but we've still got the bowl season going down, and obviously we got coaching changes happening all over the place. We got we also have got the recruiting, the early signing period. So we got a lot to talk about today, and we also got us a guest coming on about 11:15, which we will join us, and we will talk with him as well. So first thing I wanted to talk to you about, Coach, was do a little bit of updating everybody on the coaching searches. Wanted to get your take, and we got some people calling in that are on the line waiting to discuss some new coaching hires. And I wanted to get your thoughts on a few of them really quickly first. I know you saw that obviously Clemson has lost both their coordinators to new head coaching jobs. And, then Dabo had a little meltdown on recruiting day. And I wanted to get your take on Clemson. Do you think they promoted from within? Do you think they're going to be able to weather the storm? They had a kind of a rocky season. What do you think's up with Clemson Tigers, and what do you think they're going to be able to do with two of their main coaches gone?
That's their problem to fix, Nate. You know me. You got to do what all the other big programs have to do. You got to do what Nick Saban has to do every other year. Yeah. You get no sympathy from people, Dabo. It's a part of the game.
Yeah.
A lot of guys coach the game to become a head coach. And you had those guys on your staff, and that's in part why you were so successful. That's the same thing with Nick Saban. He brings in guys who aspire to be head coaches. That means they take things that much more serious. And they're going to add that discipline to your program. I just feel like him having that meltdown was immature. It was immature. It was, this game is giving you a lot, and you're still crying at, what is he, 60 years old? Like, you're still out here crying, with a camera in your face. Nobody has sympathy for you. What does he have, 2 national championships?
Yeah, in the last 4 years.
You got 2 national championships. You got first round guys. You're a top 5 paid coach every year. Shut up. Like, replace these guys. It's a part of the game. Nick Saban, you want to be compared to Nick Saban? You want to be considered the best? Nick Saban does it, and you don't hear him mention it. He just gets guys in. He lets them know the lay of the land, the rules, how I want you to run stuff, and let's go be successful. Dabo, you got to do the same thing. Nobody has sympathy for you, dude.
No, hell no. And I certainly don't. But I thought that was kind of, him and Lane Kiffin both came out and kind of, were barking about the process. And I'm like, you know what? You thought that the NCAA was going to handle this perfectly, and they were going to, have this all set up. And it's like, no, man, they were against players getting paid. They fought it tooth and nail for 30, 40, 50 years trying to make sure that none of these kids could get any money. So when they finally lost, of course they've got nothing in place to make it, run smoothly. So, I didn't really understand that, but.
Well, Nate, take it a step further. Dabo fought.
Yeah.
players.
Yeah, he didn't want that shit.
So he is just as unprepared as the NCAA.
Well, yeah, and anybody that gets any money takes part of his $12 million a year away. So it's called greed, and these
But
guys.
not really, you know what I mean? But that's how he acts, Nate. He
Yeah.
acts like your money's coming from the same pot that pays him.
Yeah, which
and
it's not.
It's outside companies.
Yeah,
it's advertising, it's marketing, it's you selling your own gear, it's you providing services. If you want to open up a training facility,
yeah,
or if you want to sell T-shirts with "Be Young" on them, number 9, like that's not coming from your pot.
No.
So, yeah, you know what? It was good to see him have a little baby fit like that. You know me and where I stand. I've never been a fan.
No.
But yeah, we'll see. I'm sure he'll deal with it and he'll overcome. But it's just a part of the game. Yeah. Come on, you've won championships. You don't think programs want guys who've been a part of that?
Yeah, they're gonna want. If your coaches are good, they're gonna want. People are gonna want them. So you got to replace them. And man, heck, at least he got the same head coach. I mean, there's a ton of schools right now that have had to change head coaches and right. completely redo their whole staff. And we've got our Midwest correspondent has jumped on with us, Mr. JB, James Bonneville.
Hey. Coach, how you doing?
Hey, where you been?
Oh, a lot of stuff going on in my life. Sorry I've been off for a little bit, but how you guys all doing today?
We're good, man. Happy to have you.
Yeah, we're doing great, man. We were just talking coaches, and I know you've got some thoughts on some of the new guys that have taken over. I wanted to get your basically get your thoughts on who you think is gonna take over and have a seamless transition, and who what hires kind of perked your interest, JB?
Well, everybody's going to go to the Lincoln Riley pick in USC, which I think is a good fit. I mean, I think he can get back to the Pete Carroll school of thought from recruiting and really nail down the Southeast. I mean, nail down SoCal, especially with Modern Day and Mission Viejo and Long Beach Poly, and really lock those kids up, and then get 18 of those kids, and then the rest of the kids, so they can go nationwide. And I mean, heck, receivers and quarterbacks grow on trees in the South. I mean, in the SoCal. So I think that's going to be really beneficial to him. And then you look at Kelly down at LSU. I mean, granted, his, I think what we saw at the basketball game, where suddenly he became Farmer Fran from Waterboy. Yeah, and suddenly the accent came out of nowhere. I mean, he must have picked that up in the south end of Boston when he grew up in Massachusetts. But I really like the Frank Wilson hire. He is a recruiting mastermind and could really help him out there. But there are 4 names, from a lesser side that really ring true to me. I look at Joey McGuire at Texas Tech. I mean, there's a reason why 1 year out of coaching high school ball, he nearly got the job at Baylor over Dave Aranda. And you look at his hires right off the gates. He brings up Zach Kitely from the OC at Western Kentucky. If you didn't get a chance to watch that game, he makes Mike Leach look like he runs a slow down offense. I mean, this guy is up tempo, and it's exactly what Texas Tech fans want. And receivers and quarterbacks want to play for that. And then you bring in Tim DeRuyter, the old DC at Oregon. I mean, former Fresno State head coach. This guy has got it going on, and I could see a seamless transition. I mean, Joey Moorhead at Akron. I mean, I was hearing 2 months ago, Akron was talking about eliminating their football program.
Yeah, I heard that.
And then they go in, and everybody and their dog wants this job from, what's his name? The old Indiana coach, Wilson, and Bobby Petrino. And then Joey Moorhead leaves to take this job at Akron, and then brings in Cam Wiley as his first grad transfer to play running back for him next year. I could see Akron making huge strides very quickly, because you look back at his days when he was OC at Penn State with Saquon Barkley. The team took off. I mean, after Donovan left and they brought in left and they brought in Moorhead, the offense took off, and it really saved Franklin. Kalen DeBoer out of Washington. I mean, you look at his career, it's been fantastic, dating back to his time at Sioux Falls, where he won 4 national championships and lost 3 games in 5 years. Goes on to Fresno to be under Tedford. Goes to Indiana to be an OC at Indiana under Allen, and then at Fresno State now. I mean, I really see this as a very good hire, and quite frankly, could really reset the balance in the Pac-12 with USC and Washington being the premier programs. And then you're gonna laugh when I say this: Jerry Kill at New Mexico State. This guy does more with less than I've ever seen. Like, honest to God, this guy loves finding the needle in the haystack of a kid.
Where'd he come from?
He is the old OC at TCU, and he used to be at a bunch of places. But the last time he had a head job was at Minnesota when he rebuilt after Timmy Brewster. And he took him to the then the Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl, but it's the old Citrus Bowl. And this guy can find a rabbit in a hat out of a hat. I mean, Eric Murray, we were recruiting against D2s, and the guy is now in the NFL, was a third-round draft pick.
Well, you got to remember, too, he was on that TCU staff last year when Gary Patterson got let go, which I didn't really like, firing a guy who built your program for 20-something years as a legend, and you built a statue of him, and then you fire him in the middle of the season. That really bothered me, but Jerry took over as the interim coach, Rico, and what'd they do but knocked off Baylor the first game that he was the head coach. And I think,
that's nice.
I think a lot of people took notice of that. And, one of the reasons he got another shot as a head guy.
I mean, you look at his record. I mean, New Mexico State is the exact place. And I'm shocked we're even bringing New Mexico State up. But this is a Jerry Kill type of job. And
what conference?
They're independent. I think they're trying to get in the CUSA, but they're independent right now.
Because New Mexico is in the
Mountain West.
Mountain West, right?
Mountain West,
yeah.
But New Mexico State isn't?
No.
Okay.
Wow.
It's a different caliber athlete that goes there, though, at New Mexico.
Exactly.
I'm going to trust you, and I'm going to follow him, but that's a hard sell right there to get
Honest to God, look at everywhere this guy's gone. He takes over programs that really have problems culturally. They're just struggling with the culture and identity of wgoing they are. And the two things that he has, his teams are always tough, and they're always insanely well prepared. I mean, they're going to run as soon as you get to the line of scrimmage, he's got everybody in motion. Where your defense, your linebackers and safeties are confused constantly in what they do. And they're going to run the ball, and they're going to do a lot of drag routes. And they're going to make your linebackers completely commit to that gap protection.
Gotcha. Well, man, I'm going to watch. That's a name I wasn't familiar with, but I'm going to follow him, and let's see if he works that magic down there.
Yeah, I know, Joey McGuire that you mentioned, he was the head coach at Cedar Hill High School in Texas, which is a powerhouse in the biggest division. And, it's like a college program, really.
Oh, completely.
It really is. And, if you can win there, you can win pretty much anywhere because it's tough competition. And, man, they pump guys into D1.
On the recruiting front, the Travis Hunter stuff, I got to say I'm so upset with the way people treated him on Twitter because at the end of the day, this young man made a decision for himself and what he thinks and what culture he wants. And people have this entitlement ability that it's owed for him to go to Florida State.
Yeah.
I mean, if this young man, and I hope the best for him, but injuries happen, and they supported him before he went to college. Now at college, if he has an injury, are they going to support him after he's done with college too as well?
They're done. They're
done. Absolutely. Yeah. And this, I got to give Coach Prime credit. I mean, he is building a culture at Jackson State, and you could see it. I mean, where he was in the spring to today, all those games he lost, he now won in the fall. And I'm interested to see what this team looks like a year from now when he has a full year to develop these young men. Now you got Eddie George is there. What's his name? The old Browns coach Hugh Jackson's down at Grambling. I think it's going to be great watching HBCU football in the coming years, because I think you're going to see more high-profile coaches following similar paths that you saw Coach Prime as doing at Jackson State, and I think it's great. I think it's going to help diversify the game as a whole.
Yeah, and Coach, I wanted to ask you, this is something we talked about before, Rico, is, does Deion stay there? Is that a place where, he sticks around? Because, I think that he's got it going on right now. I mean, he got his son.
I heard you. I had a connection problem.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, he's got both his sons there, and now he's got Hunter. Does he stay at Jackson?
Listen, I like it. I like that he's still there. It looks like he may be committed. He's definitely changing the culture. He's definitely bringing more attention to those smaller HBCUs. And guess what? In turn, when you bring more attention and more viewership, you get more sponsorship deals. You get more money to these small programs. And that's huge. Same thing with Hugh Jackson. I want to say Hugh Jackson got a couple of 3-stars somehow.
Yeah.
And listen, it's a crazy effect. But to go back with a Midwest correspondent was saying, I agree 100%. People have a certain level of entitlement that's kind of sickening. The boy didn't want to go to Florida State. He doesn't have to go to Florida State. Who are you to tell somebody where they're supposed to play ball or what level even they're supposed to play ball? Like you said, if he was to get hurt in spring ball, let's say he enrolled early, got hurt in spring ball, and never played another down, not one of you guys would have sent him a cash app.
Absolutely.
Not one person would Venmo or cash app him. Not only does he get a chance to go to one of these smaller universities, but he's also coming in with a head start financially. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And that's his decision to make. So, I was appalled when I saw some of the articles and stuff like, what's he doing? It's his life. Yeah. Look, I played at the University of Tennessee. A bunch of other guys might have played at Bama. Everybody doesn't go pro.
Exactly.
And that's the bottom line.
The one stat I heard yesterday, and it had nothing to do with the game, watching the Celebration Bowl, is when Coach Prime came in, Jackson State was making $14 million a year on their football program. And in less than 1 year, they are making over $30 million. That is the impact. I mean,
come on.
They could can keep growing because I mean, he is a brand. I mean, he and Brian Bosworth started branding before branding was even a word. And honest to God, you could see it. He's building something there, and it's fantastic.
Hey, I'm all for it, man. We were all bitching that it's the same 4 schools in the college football playoff every year, and then we have this year, and things go haywire, and now everybody's complaining that these other schools are stepping it up. So I don't really get that. I'm happy that this kid's happy about where he's going. It's his choice, and he should get to choose wherever he wants to go. And it's not like Florida State won the national championship this year. Florida State sucks. So if he decides, hey, I don't really want to go there, and guess what? If you want to learn how to play corner, I think learning from Deion's pretty good spot to go.
Might help you out a little bit, right?
Hey,
with a little bit. Yeah.
He's got a clue on how to play cover too, I think. So
But Nate, the most impressive thing is Deion got into coaching a couple years ago. He had volunteered at a high school, then took over as head coach. I mean, he's learning even more and more now. So he's more on that coaching side now. I mean, he has all the experience in the world, college, NFL, even from him playing high school ball. So he has that database, but now he has the coaching aspect of it, guys. I mean, it's a win-win for that kid. Like you said, Nate, this guy's seen every guy in the NFL in the 90s, every top talented guy there, he's checked them. He's seen every route. And that's just somebody that's literally been there, done that, who can coach you up.
Well, Rico, I got a question for you coming from that side of the ball. Mm-hmm. Do you take a lot of the good and the bad from the coaches you've had prior and use that? I mean, you look back at Deion, and I mean, he had a who's who of coaches throughout his entire career, from Coach Bowden, Jimmy Johnson. I mean, the human hairspray. I mean, I swear to God, a hurricane could come through and Jimmy Johnson's hair would still stay pristine. Seifert out in the 49ers. I mean, go down the line. He has got a database of guys he can go back to and see what he liked and didn't like. And then when he goes into people's homes, the kids may not know who he is, but the parents sure will.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. He is fantastic on selling mamas in the living room. I mean, I can't see a downside to this right now.
Listen, he like you said, his brand has always been around, and it's aging well. Like you said, he could go in somebody's house right now. The kid could have a single parent. It could be his mom, and she's not a football fan. But when you say prime time or prime or Deion Sanders, she's the football player and probably never saw a game, but she knows that name.
Yeah.
So that's literally the power of branding, and he built his brand, and those parents definitely gonna know who Deion Sanders is. And look, and we're in the age of Google. You can talk to a kid and he can pop in Google real quick, and he's out. Yeah, I'm a done deal. I'll go play
I'm sure
for
Deion probably comes up first if you hit Prime. So,
I wouldn't be a bit surprised. It's either him or Amazon, and quite frankly, I'm surprised he never trademarked Prime, because that would be hilarious. Him taking some money off Amazon on that.
Wouldn't that be wild?
Maybe he did.
Now, one last question, because I know you guys got to move on. There was talk amongst the Twitterverse of seeing some of those HBCUs move on to Conference USA since they got decimated. Do you see that, or do you still staying in the MEAC and the SWAC?
Oh man, I think that would be a great move for him. So me being at the being down here, I'm in the D2 level, of course, and I get to see things. And I'll say this: the talent's there, and that'll allow them to have more resources. You get more resources, they'll catch up in a couple years. I think it'll be tough, first 3 maybe. 3, maybe even 4. Some teams will probably come out the gates running year 2, year 3, and they can compete. But man, you got to think it's resources, it's money coming in, it's better facilities, it's better gear. Now you can attract even more kids there. Or better yet, the biggest problem is retention. Yeah. Now you can get kids to come back because they're loved. I mean, kids love playing ball, and now when you have a better environment, it's gonna pop.
Hey, I love it, man. I'm all for it, and I hope they do go there, because that conference did get decimated, and I think if these schools can, keep getting these types of players and keep getting this type of attention, it'll be good for their universities and
TV.
for the.
Come on, man.
They're going to get more TV time. Yep. I mean, you could have a kid in Chicago who never even thought about it. Now will seriously consider it just because of the TV time. Because that's a lot of how a lot of kids out of states learn about these programs.
Yep. Well, hey, JB, we appreciate it. We're going to have you back on soon and get some more good nuggets from you. We're going to be watching New Mexico State now.
Hey,
they're not in the top 25. I'm coming to you.
Watch Jerry kill. I mean, it's a meat and potatoes game, but it's like watching a rock fight of rock fights. His guys come in and they fight. I mean, there's a culture he brings to that program, and it's impressive. It's really impressive.
We'll see, man. Thanks for coming on and sharing some of your knowledge with us, brother. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Guys, have a great day.
All right,
buddy. Take it easy.
All right, we got your boy, Derek, ready to come on. I'm going to pull him up.
Hey. I'd like to introduce a good friend of mine, Derek Furlow Jr., VFL, entrepreneur, transition specialist, everything author. Look, got a couple of books out there. If y'all want hard copies or y'all want the audio book, he got it all available for you. Hey, look, he's even into some mental health space. So, Derek Furlow, welcome on, my brother.
Welcome. 5, man. Pleasure being here. Thanks for having me, fellas. Rise and grind. Another great day to be alive, like Coach Brooks would say.
Heck yeah.
Go ahead, Nate. You got anything for him? This is the co-host, Knoxville, Nate. I'm sure
Yes,
you
sir,
ran into him
Derek.
before at Knoxville, Furlough.
Man,
Yeah,
I see you, Knoxville Nate, repping Philly heavy over there. I see you.
That's right, buddy. We got a little Ronnie Brown going on today. I like the game worn jerseys, so I try and rep any of the players that I like. But Derek,
Ronnie, that's a UGA guy right there, ain't he?
that Auburn. That's an Auburn.
Auburn.
Boy.
Oh yeah,
what's his name?
Auburn.
Yeah,
Okay.
Ronnie Brown. You remember?
Ronnie Brown. Yeah, running back.
Yes,
Ronnie and Cadillac.
Yeah. That's it. I knew
They had a
that's
pretty
it,
good
yeah.
backfield, and Derek, we appreciate you joining us, man. And I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about, after football, how you got into this, and how you started doing what you're doing now. Just tell our listeners and our viewers a little bit about what you got going on and how you got into it.
Well, Knoxville, Nate, that can be a million different things, and that can take a whole lot of time. So we gonna narrow it down and keep it specific.
Okay.
Really, at the end of the day, man, making it to the University of Tennessee, and you seeing guys come in before you and guys come in after you, and in your time frame there, you see a lot of guys come back, and a lot of times you see guys come back that you thought was gonna be in the league and have these long, illustrious careers, and some of them were short and sweet. Some of them, it didn't turn out how you thought it was going to turn out. So as you're looking and you see guys coming back to school, you start to realize, you ask yourself, why they coming back? And most of the reason, it ain't like they just like school. Is things didn't work out on the other end, and they don't know what's next. So when you start being real with yourself, you're like, all right, either I'm going to figure this thing out, or I'm going to be just like them. I'm going to leave, and I'm going to have to come back because I didn't finish, or I don't know what's next for my life after sports. So that's kind of what happened for me. I just happened to be aware. Playing safety, you had to work on your awareness and knowing what's going on around you. So as I just kind of took a look around me, I'm like, okay, clearly this next level don't work out as easy as people think it's going to work out. And of course, you don't think you're going to be that guy, because the only reason you go to particular programs like University of Tennessee is that dream, and you thinking you're going to be that diamond in the rough, or that odds are in your favor, right? Even though reality, no, the numbers are not in your favor.
There you go.
But that's what makes you grind like that. That's what makes you wake up and do those workouts. So with that being said, I just started to pay attention and realize, okay, I need to do those things outside of just playing this game, and build those relationships outside of just being on this field, and outside of just being in athletics, that can eventually allow me to brand myself or get involved or be around people that's doing other things outside of the football aspect. So during my time at the University of Tennessee, I just learned to network with different people, make different relationships. And in that process, I realized that, hey, for one, as an athlete, we have a lot of transferable skills that we can take from the field, or from the court, or from the track, or from the pool, and use in another phase of your life, or in another phase of business that will give you an unfair advantage. However, it's never taught in a classroom setting or dumbed down and spoken athletic lingo where we can understand it, and somebody's not coming in and talking and it's going over our head. So as I just started to pay attention, I realized that, all right, you might not necessarily need an internship because you put in this work on this field. So those skill sets are transferable. And if you can communicate it the right way in any venture you do after this game, you can have success in it. So as I started to pay attention, man, I realized, okay, I got to figure this thing out, because the odds are definitely not in my favor of going to that next level, especially having injuries and just seeing how the guys that I thought should have went there and it didn't work out for them. So I just became a realist, man, and say, okay, if this thing don't work out, what other industries can I get into? And I've seen guys in my time at Tennessee that was in sales and that was entrepreneurs, and they were business owners. I'm like, they were really successful. So at that point, I realized, all right, outside of coming from an inner city, you don't have to sell drugs or hoop or rap to be successful.
There you go.
So it was opportunities out there. You just had to get in those circles and learn that, hey, there are ways for you to be successful in America without you having to do those things you think you got to do being a young black man. So that's what I started to do. And in that time frame, man, coming out, the NFL dream didn't work out for me how I thought it was going to work out. However, I was fortunate enough to have built some right relationships. So when I got done doing all the football camps, when I got done playing, hurt my shoulder my senior year doing the NFL Pro Day. I heard it again. I heard it the senior year, then heard it again during the Pro Day. So when I got done, I'm like, okay, I got to figure out something. So we did these football combines across the country with NUC, National Underclassmen Combine. And then after that, I realized I had to get a job. So sure enough, man, I called one of those guys I knew. It was actually like 6 of them that worked at the same place. And I didn't know what they did. I just know they always had money, and they always would buy me and my teammates. This is long before, they had this NIL stuff and, stuff was legal. But they would take care of the meals And I'm like, these bills weren't that small, but they didn't bat an eye when it come down to these bills, these checks that was coming to this table. So, look, I don't know what they were doing, but it looked legal. And I said, look, man, I don't know what y'all doing, but I need to do what y'all doing. They invited me to go down to come down and take a shadow with them on this particular day at Vacation Resorts place down in Gatlinburg. And they said, man, come down here and shadow me. And I know I was down there for 2 hours, bro. And I seen this lady spend $60,000 with this guy in 2 hours. And she was happy about it. And he said, yeah, that just paid me $5,000. I said, look, bro, I don't know. For one, I don't know nobody in my hood that can spend $60,000 to be happy about it. But for two, she did it in 2 hours. And you gonna pay that much? Look, I don't know what this is, but I need to do it. And at that point right there, that's when I got into the sales game and realized it's ways to get paid out here. You just got to figure out how do you make it work for you. So I got in, didn't know what I was doing, but that last 3 months of the year, I made $20,000. You couldn't tell me nothing. Well, what they didn't tell me is called rescission, cancels, and then taxes. So that following couple months, some stuff happened at home with my sister. My mom ended up getting my two nephews, and I was trying to help out. Well, I thought I had more money coming in, and sure enough, man, the money wasn't coming in because I had some cancels and some taxes that hit. So the check that I thought I was going to get, I wasn't going to get. And that's when I had to ask myself, man, life hit hard. And I found myself at this fork in the road. Like, bro, you're going to figure this thing out. This thing all commission. If you want to help out, you got to figure out another way to do it. And that's when I had to ask myself, man, what made you a lead in sports? And what I was able to find out, there was a lot of transferable things that I had did on that field. Whether it was in practice, whether it was in camp, whether it was in meeting rooms, that I could go take and apply to the sales game. And once I took that same mindset and the same thoughts and the same attack to the sales game that I took to football, bro, I literally had one of the best sales years of my life and was able to help my family out. And at that point, moving forward, man, I said I'd never, for one, I'd never be broke again. But for two, I can always help. I can help more of my guys that came with me and behind me because I done learned something that was never taught in the classroom setting. And it pretty much was this: T plus C plus C equals ST. That was the takeaway from all those things I had learned from sports. Figure out how they correlate to where I was at in my life or where I was going, and then figure out how to carry them over. And when I figured those things out, they equal a successful transition. So that's that formula that I took and applied. And from that point, man, I said, okay, I need to put this thing in the book. I need to go tell some guys I need to start speaking. And that's what kind of pushed me from 2009, 2010 to 2021. It's that whole growth process, man, of just being aware and then realizing the game gave me a lot of intangible transferable skills and then figuring out how to apply them and where I can apply them. And then realizing there's a lot of athletes that was behind me that needed this information. And man, it's only my duty to share it.
A bunch of them. And that's why I had you come on the show, Furlough. It's coming that time of the year where it's a lot of guys last time putting on these pads, man, and they don't even know it. And that transition from being an athlete and having fans and being the man or being a part of something bigger than yourself, that's going to come to an end for a lot of guys. And you know, you're one of my good buddies, and we talk often, and you know, we shoot ideas off of each other. We talk about everything. We talk about life problems. And Nate, that's why I brought him over, man. Hopefully, you know, even if it's one or two guys hears this message, it's, hey, life goes on, and there's plenty of time left to live. So you got to have a game plan when this thing's over. And from what I took from just listening to you just now, Furlough, and it's basically that mindset. It's that mindset, applying that discipline, applying that work ethic to other avenues once this game is done with you. Because let's be real, you're never done with the game. It's the game's done with you. Yeah. You know, that's what it comes down to. You never get, well, most people, I'm not going to say never, most people don't have a chance to decide or that opportunity to decide when they're walking away from the game. That game leaves you high and dry sometimes. So for you to come on, man, and share some of this wisdom for these guys, because like we've been through it, and we know a bunch of other guys. Nate, I'm sure when you stopped playing ball and didn't have another game to play, it was like, man, hey, no more football.
Yeah, no, what? While Derek was talking, that's what I thought about. I mean, I got done and I was like, shit, what do I do now? And that's, you know, I got in a similar role where, you know, I'd played football for so long and was such in love with the game. I was able to, you know, kind of translate that into a sales job where I used my football knowledge and my people skills. And I sold the headsets, that the coaches wear on the sideline, and scouting programs and video editing software. And so I got to still be around the game and also, like Derek said, make some money.
Yeah.
Bro, y'all both said something that I hope people catch. First things first, 5, you said staying relevant and being a part of something that's bigger than you. So in the game, you do that by nature because your last name is on a jersey. Your last name is bigger than your first name. Your first name not on your jersey. For 2, the school is on your helmet. Or the team you played on your helmet. So it's already bigger than you. So by default, you're part of that. But when you leave the game, you just got to go get a part of something else, another vehicle, another opportunity that's bigger than you. And at the end of the day, life is going to be bigger than you anyway. So if you take the same mindset, you can go take it and apply it. Second thing is staying relevant. This is the biggest kicker. A lot of guys, with social media these days, it's so easy to stay relevant. However, if you stay relevant for the right reasons, you can build a brand that can pay you down the road. Well, now with this NIL stuff, you get a chance to start staying relevant with a brand that started on the field that you can correlate and carry over into life.
Yes.
So that part right there, something bigger than you, staying relevant, that happened every single day in the game. That's still relevant every single day in life. You just got to figure out what vehicle allows you to do it. What Nate said, as far as he found something that allowed him to make money, and he used his natural skill sets and talents to do it. Well, I believe first things first, as an athlete, sales and commissions, that's probably one of the biggest things or entrepreneurship, one of the biggest things that we're built for, because it's that grit, it's that grind, it's that mindset, it's that ability to get up and go get it every single day. And nothing's given to you, nothing promised to you. You got to go earn it. So if you can take that same mindset, because at some point in time, you probably was a scrub, you probably wasn't the best, but then there's some guys that always been the best. But as you go up on different levels, it's different guys that are bigger and better, faster, stronger. So in any game, you go get into the sales or entrepreneurship or any area of life, if you come in with the same mindset, you might come in as the best already or pretty nice, but then as you develop that skill, that mindset, you become better and better and better, and you know you can't be stopped, you can't be touched until you get to that level where you can dominate in that field and that aspect as well, just like you did in the sports arena. So I believe those things are two and the same. The only thing about it is it's never really talked about or correlated in a way that athletes get it. And I call it the athletic lingo, because if you can talk to me and you and my peers and we realize that, hey, I already know this and I already have been applying it all my life. It's nothing new. I'm not starting over. I'm just transitioning. I'm walking away from the game. Like you said, 5, it's by choice or by force it's going to end.
That's it.
Most of the time it's by force.
Yeah.
But in general, if you just realize, all right, one thing comes, I got to say, good things come to an end, so great things can begin. So when the game is over, that was a good thing. It got you a long way. It might didn't get you to that pinnacle. It might have got you past that pinnacle. Well, at this point, that was your life prep. It taught you a lot of things about life that you didn't even know. But the moment you get into life, you got to realize this. It's going to be people that you're going to work with in the entrepreneur space, in the office setting, in your co-workers. They ain't been battle tested. They ain't been put under pressure. So when they come down to making that split-second decision that can make or break the company, you've been doing that all game. You've been doing it. Look, you got 10,000 hours of practice getting reps in of making split-second decisions.
Yeah.
You got hours of reps in of getting involved with people from different backgrounds who didn't come from where you came from, so you can get along and build culture. They need that in the workplace.
Yeah.
So the kicker is you got all these intangible things that you're built that's normal in the sports world. You just got to realize, what are those things that's so normal in the sports world that are easy to you? And now when I get into this new phase of my life or my business, those things came so normal, but over here in corporate, they ain't normal. And it's going to make me look elite. And it's going to give me an opportunity to get paid to do something that I don't even think about, because I've been doing it so long in this game that done got me prepared for this. And the moment you figure that out, it's a wrap.
Yeah. And when the biggest thing is, you already touched on it. This, just for me and my experiences, I'm sure Nate has experienced it himself too. It's stress. It's stress. You know you got to perform. You got to get it done. You have an assignment. That is your job. So, yeah, man, that's awesome, Furlough. And I appreciate it, big dog, you coming on, dropping some jewels. When we do another show, man, we might have to cut a bigger slot for you so that we can talk about the mental.
Let's go.
Hey,
let's go.
Nate, listen, it's gonna be some struggles that comes along with that transition, and this it's that mental health space, man.
Yeah,
it's that mental health space. You're gonna struggle with your identity a little bit. A lot of guys do. A lot of guys aren't prepared for it. We gotta have you back on, Furlough. We could talk about that mental health aspect of things, man, because That's what I wish they talk more about in college before before you get out of there is, hey, you're going to have some days, or let me tell you how to take care of yourself up here. Here
Yeah.
are signs for everything. And that's something that we should talk about, Furlough. We'll get you back on here. We'll talk, hey, and we'll talk about a company. We'll actually talk about a company and what they provide. But man, it's a lot going into transitioning, man. It's a lot of stuff you got to take on, and that's for anybody.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, look, I thank y'all for having me, man, and then definitely let me know, man, time, date, and we'll make it work, man. I appreciate y'all for having me on, and let me get a chance to share y'all doing awesome stuff, man. And I hope this year ends strong, so next year starts even stronger, man.
My man, I appreciate it, Furlough.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
Derek.
Thank
Yeah,
y'all.
You. Have a good one.
Absolutely.
That was Derek Furlough, former Vol, now turned entrepreneur. Man, I was really digging what he was saying, man. I got to be honest. When I got done playing and it was time for me to, get out in the world, I had no idea what to do. And I think there's a real role for people like Derek who kind of prepare people and talk about things like you were saying that people don't talk about. And it's ridiculous to me why that's not something that's discussed more and something that is, brought more into athletics is, preparing them for the world, because athletics does prepare you. Football does prepare you for the world, but I don't think it really prepares you for that transition. And that's what some people, aren't ready for. So, yeah, man, that was cool talking to him. And we want to get a little bit back to football. Yeah, we got to get maybe Rich just learned something. We got to get a little bit back onto the football topic because, we did have this early signing day. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about this. These kids, they come out, they're 17, maybe 18 years old. They've met with these coaches. They've seen these schools play. But I wanted to talk to you. You've been through this. You had these guys coming to talk to you. You had these coaches calling your house, visiting you at school, visiting you at home. And I just wanted to hear your take on, the whole process of recruiting and what goes into these kids making these decisions to pick the school that they're going to go to. And now, back when you played and back when I played, you picked a school, you pretty much stayed there. And now, there's a little more leniency there, but still it's a big decision. And, tell our listeners and our watchers, what the process was like for you and, what these kids dealt with last week.
Man, it shouldn't be as scary, but I guess that's all perspective. Shouldn't be as scary as it was for us back in the day. I mean, like you said, I made a decision. If a kid made a decision back in the early 2000s, you had to get a coach's release to transfer. You couldn't transfer to a team in conference. You had to sit out a year. The only way you could play immediately is if you transferred down a level.
Yeah.
So there was a bunch of stuff to think about. You put a lot more thought into that program you were signing with. I'd say another part of it that was difficult for some kids, some of my peers, was the recruiting process in general, because you have to take ownership of it. It's not you being rude or mean. It's you prioritizing having some free time. You don't have to answer every phone call. I'm not saying to big time anybody. You can shoot them a text, tell them, you'll give them a call tomorrow or another time. Because you're still a kid. You still got assignments due in school. Sure, you still got friends. You still got your own social life. And you still got family. So the biggest, and I saw some kids that would take every phone call or parents would pick up the house phone and pass them the phone. And we established it early. And I was lucky enough to have an older brother who went through the process, Nate. Yeah. So I watched him and we learned from his process. He wound up playing at Syracuse. Shout out to Big Bro.
Your Big Bro played at Syracuse? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he played safety up there. And
wow.
Reggie McCoy. But Nate, it's making sure you put yourself first to an extent, man. You can't let all the calls take up your home time, your night time, and you still got to do schoolwork and stuff like that. But it was stressful. Yeah, it was stressful because of how hard it would have been to get out of that program if it wasn't a good fit for you. Yeah. Now I feel like there's different kinds of stress. Now, I will say this: a 4 or 5-star can take their time in deciding. But here's the other thing: because of COVID, the extra year that all these guys got, and because of the new transfer portal,
yeah,
I think your 3-stars on down the line from there, they have to make a decision sooner rather than later now, because coaches, like you said, it's a instant fix society, man. We want stuff quick. We want stuff to happen right away. We want the 5-minute ready rice now. And what's happening is you're a 3-star or 2-star, and you're waiting around to sign with the team or commit, and they just go in the portal because they saw a receiver that they liked or a DB that they liked. Hey, look, who was a starter already in big-time football.
right.
Why not bring him in? It's less risk because it's a transition from high school to college. A kid can be good in high school and not that good in college, or he can be okay and then become a real good college player. But when you got a guy that you can grab out of the portal, and it's basically a 2-year commitment because he's a sophomore, started 2 years somewhere, does everything you like and need, it's a no-brainer. So that's what the kids are up against now. The kids are up against they're competing against not just JUCOs anymore. They're competing against other college players, older guys, more experienced, seasoned guys now. So I could imagine it's stressful, Nate.
Yeah.
Look, you get to December and you might have had 8 or 9 scholarships from, group of 5 schools and maybe one Power 5. And you get to December and you don't have any, or you got 2 scholarships left. Now you got to commit to a school you might not really like. So it's a bunch of things going on. What are you thinking?
No, I love what you're saying because it is different today. I mean, first off, the commitment isn't as firm, right? Like you have the ability to get out easier. And I like that part of it because before, man, what if you showed up and you were sold a bill of goods and you arrive and where you're at is different, and that's not cool. So I like the fact that you can get out. It's kind of crazy the way that it's changed because before you were locked down and now there's no restrictions. So It's kind of nuts how big it's changed. But, the other thing is with social media, now these people follow recruiting so closely and so many people know who these kids are, all over the country. They follow these 3-star guys from when they're sophomores, juniors in high school. And, there's more exposure and there's more, just spotlight on these kids. And so it makes it different. And it makes it kind of stressful, like you were saying, because people want something from you. They want you to come to their school and they want you to help their team. And, you kind of get that feeling like you're letting these people down if you go to another school. But it's a crazy world. And I feel bad, like you said, for the kids that are ready to play, but there's no place for them to go because there's these kids that are still in school with the extra year, the transfer portal. And now these kids are trying to go to college and there's no scholarships for them, even though they're good enough to play.
Yeah, it's maybe, I don't know. JUCO ball is about to take a step forward, isn't it?
Hey, that's what I was just about to say. I'm like, the JUCO world may just get an influx of talent.
The boom.
And you know what? I think it's good because, now you can go and if you've got some areas of your game to work on, you can go to the JUCO world, have a platform to, showcase your skills and also work on your game. So you could go to a better school than maybe you would have been headed for initially. You know what I'm saying?
I think the JUCOs are going to boom now, man. Listen, they're going to get an influx of players, which maybe will turn into some more money for these JUCOs. And I don't know. I think that's a good thing going for the junior college programs. And maybe, I don't know, but the players have to go somewhere, JUCOs and prep schools maybe, but I don't see these guys just sitting around. Like you got too many good football players just sitting around, Nate, because of the extra year of Scott. I mean, I was watching a game, was it last night? So a 6-year senior playing. There'll be some 6-year seniors playing next year. Like, come on, Nate. So
hey,
that's
I saw them. They kicked our ass in the game up there in Michigan because they were all 6-year guys pushing our freshmen around. I saw it.
Grown men, huh?
Yeah, it's grown men against 18-year-olds, and it does make a difference when you've got guys that have been playing the game for 4, 5, 6 years at the collegiate level. They know all the tricks of the trade. And
23-year-old and an 18-year-old, it's a difference.
Yep. Hey, we got a caller here. I'm gonna pop him up. Looks like we got Colin from Florida. You hear us, Colin?
Yeah, how's it going, guys?
Hey, how you doing, brother?
Doing good. First time caller. Love the show.
First time caller, long time listener, right?
Yes, sir.
Ring the bell.
Tune in
Hey,
every week.
we got the coach, Rico McCoy, with you. We got Knoxville Nate. I know it says here on the script that you are a Vol fan. What'd you think of the recruiting class that went down this past week?
Well, considering it was Hype's first year and he got into the game pretty late last year, I thought he did a pretty damn good job, you know. That signing those 3 guys on the last day, West, Pierce, and Williams, that was huge. But the situation at hand, because I mean, none of those guys have relationships in Tennessee, you know, so it's going to take a couple years to get those guys. It'd been nice to land that Walter Nolan, but you know, you can't expect to go into, you know, because they're mainly Florida and I guess Gardner has a good relationship throughout the Southeast, but yeah, what did you guys think?
Man, I'm gonna echo your sentiments. You know, I can't be mad. They made some strides. They got a couple guys I didn't think they would get, and I think we're on the right track. Coach Gardner brought in a couple guys that I don't think we were going to get. I didn't think we were going to get them, and he got it done. So, Colin, I think we're moving in the right direction. We got a couple guys who can play. We're going to get better. Our quarterback's back. And I don't think we're done yet. We're going to grab a couple guys through that portal, and we're going to be all right.
Yeah. No, I agree with you both. Yeah. They got a lot of they needed dudes. They needed bodies, first off. You know, that was the one thing that Rico and I, Colin, talked about a lot throughout the season when we discussed the Vols, was that they were a little shallow at some positions. And depth became a factor throughout the year. When they'd get in the second half, they'd look great in the first half, even against Bama, against Ole Miss. A lot of these good teams, Georgia even, they played tough, but they get in the second half and you start getting tired, and the guys you put in weren't as good. So what I really liked was the numbers. They had a lot of good numbers, and they got a lot of depth on the lines, the defensive and the offensive lines. And we all know that's where the battle begins, right, Colin?
Yeah, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say we only had like 71 scholarship players this year too, which, I mean, 15 less players on Scully. I mean, that's doing something. And, you know, that offense that Hype's run, who didn't want to come play for that offense, you know? So I think the numbers are going to keep on adding up, and future's bright. I just hopefully, we get some guys that want to come in and play defense for us, some big time players. So that's what we'll need, Yeah,
I agree with you, Colin. If we can grab a couple more defensive guys, secondary linebackers, we'll be in good shape. Like you said, we're getting the weapons offensively. I saw a couple we got a huge offensive lineman. That was a big body. They're getting the guys. Let's just hope we can finish this thing with some defensive guys. I mean, Coach Banks did a great job with what he had, but hey, let's plug in, let's improve, let's build some depth back there, and let's see how we can build for next year.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey, Colin, I wanted to get your take. We were talking a little bit about, the recruiting world and the transfer portal and all that type of thing, and how much the game has changed. And, as a college football fan, I want to get your perspective on it. Do you like the new college football world that we live in, that these kids can jump from team to team like free agency, or are you like Dabo and whining like a baby?
Man, I just can't make up my mind at this point, to be honest. It's just so new, but But I mean, I like it, especially the fact, a lot of guys go play for coaches, and if that
Yep.
coach leaves, they shouldn't suffer for that, So I think there's some good aspects to it. And, but yeah, it's a little too early for me to kind of make up my mind on that one yet.
No,
What do you think, Nate?
No, it's a new world. It's a new world. I do.
It.
I like it. I like it.
I like it because it only hurts when it's a guy leaving your program. But
yeah.
As being a former player and being an athlete, it's being treated the way it should have been treated the whole while. Let's be real. This is a business.
We all know this.
And look, and if you're working at a company and you're not a fit for it, what can you do as a grown-up? You can go and
go to another job.
And that's how I see it. I see it as being
that makes sense.
If you're not a good fit, go somewhere else.
Well, what if you're a student
that makes sense.
and you're at the Tennessee Law School and you just don't like your professors and you don't like the curriculum that they're offering? Well, guess what? You can say, I'm not going to this law school anymore, and you can quit paying the money there and you can go get into another program. This isn't like some crazy deal that we've never seen in our lives before.
Exactly.
This stuff happens every day, and I know it's going to take the college football world a little bit of getting used to. But guess what? If you tell these kids the truth, if you have a good program, if you are in line with what you are saying on the recruiting trail, and you are striving for success, kids are going to want to come to your program, and they're going to want to stay.
That's it. That's it. You're going to lose guys.
It's going to add a lot more work for.
What's
that? Say, Colin?
Yeah, it's also going to. I was just going to say it's going to. These coaches, it's tough. They recruit, and now with this, man, they're going to have that much more, But,
it's
just part of the game.
Harder. But Colin, don't feel bad for them, brother. They make about $10 million bucks a year, and they're driving cars that other people are paying for. They're living in houses that the university fits the bill for. They got clothes on that the university paid for.
Hey,
don't worry about them.
Yeah, and they can stop working anytime they want, and they get paid $20 million to leave.
Yeah, if they fail, they get fired to leave. Now, that's just the head guys now. Now think about Rico knows about these assistant coaches. They're the ones that do all the work, and then they don't get half the money.
All the work,
they're the ones on the road.
I'd like to see the assistant coaches' salaries go up. I like it when I see an assistant guy get a bump in pay. But, these head coaches, only profession in the world where you get paid to screw up.
Mm-hmm. Hey, what do you guys think about this early signing period? Do you think they're going to change that date, or it seems a little early being December,
I'm still not a fan of it, Colin. I can't make sense of it. I think it should be around, but it should be for a guy who wants to enroll in January.
Yeah.
Your season's over.
Yeah.
I can see if you were saying, let me get this stress out the way. Well, sign in August.
Yeah.
Sign in August. You're signing in December where you could just wait a few months and sign. And I don't know. I see it as a waste. Early signing period should be for JUCO guys, prep school guys, if you ask me, or high school kid that's enrolling in January. It's just another way to make money, if you ask me. You got different broadcasting companies showing it and this and that. It's just another way. You can pay your reporters more, calling to do a signing day report in December, then do one a couple months later. I don't get it.
Yeah, especially, four of these teams are going to the national championship games. They're dealing with this.
Yeah. I like that's a good point, Colin. I think it's a little ridiculous for these teams that are still playing to have to have a damn signing day in the middle of their, march to the championship. Obviously Nick Saban don't have no problems with it, but these other teams that maybe Cincinnati that's new and has never played for the championship before, well, they're focused on getting to the title game and prep for this, 4-team playoff. And they're also trying to get guys signed. And I just think it's a lot of work to have this going on right now. And I'm with Rico. I wish they would just have it for JUCO players. maybe have a little period for the transfer guys to sign. But I liked the, I think February is.
Come on, man. February should be a holiday.
Yeah, February was always fun to me. College football season's over. The bowl season just ended. And then, bam, you got, hey, let's talk about next year's team. You got recruiting day in February. And I kind of liked that. So I'm not a fan
it was like one of my favorite days of the year.
Yeah, me too.
Wednesday in February.
Wednesday in February. Yeah, no, I'm with you, Colin. And we appreciate you calling in, brother. Come back and join us again whenever you got time, okay?
Yep, we appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for watching the show and listening in. We appreciate you. All right, that was Colin from Florida. Got a little bit of a Vol fan down in Florida, man. That's crazy. I guess you win a couple games and people, the fans come back up, they show back up. And I do give credit to the staff over here in town. I mean, to win 7 games with the deficiencies on that roster, I think was impressive. And it's good for college football when Tennessee's good. I want Tennessee to be good. I hate Texas, so I don't really want them to come back. But, Michigan, Nebraska, Notre Dame, these teams that have been around forever, USC, it helps the scope of college football, I think, when those teams are successful.
I agree. I'm happy with that hire at USC, man. When USC is good, college football is back on track. That's just how I feel. And I'm a Vol, no question about it. But USC should be and always has been, I guess, and always will be a mainstay. It's USC. Do they still have the most Heisman Trophy winners and stuff like that?
They're definitely up there. I think they do. And that's a program that has had a lot of success over the years. And, I agree with you. I think the college football is better when you have that West Coast element. And the past few years, the Pac-12 to me has just kind of been an afterthought. Even if you just have one good team, it's helpful. But I think if we can get UCLA going again, you got Chip Kelly. He started to make some strides this year. He just got that quarterback out of the portal, Dylan Gabriel, to transfer.
From UCF.
Yeah, from UCF.
He can play ball too.
That kid can ball. And I like him. I've seen a lot out of him. And I think in a Chip Kelly offense, that kid can succeed. Mm-hmm. I like what Coach is doing down in Arizona State. Herm Edwards, I think he's done a pretty good job down there, making them at least competitive. And like Bonneville was mentioning earlier on the show, Washington just made a new hire. And, that's a proud program going back to when I was a kid, which was a long ass time ago. But that program's been around and that program has had success. So if we can get Stanford back on track, UCLA, I definitely think it'll be better for everybody. But I know that Coach Lincoln Riley, he's going to bring the funk out there in Los Angeles, man. That guy knows what the hell he's doing. He's a rock star.
They'll have a top 5 recruiting class in no time. Because James hit it on the head. Wide receivers, QBs, and every down backs, they live all over that Cali. They live all over that state of California, man. And they understand offense out there. He's gonna do some great things out there. I can see it. Did he already hire a D coordinator?
That I do not know. I don't think so.
Okay, because if he brings in the defensive coordinator, man, they're probably gonna win the Big 12, the Pac-12 next year. I'm just being real. Like that's that's the impact they're gonna have on the West Coast.
Yeah, he's already hired. He brought Alex Grinch with him.
Okay.
So he brought his defensive coordinator from Oklahoma. I'd forgot that. And Alex Grinch is a good coach. He was actually up for the Oklahoma job. So he did a pretty good job these past few years turning that Oklahoma defense around. And, I think he'll have success out there in Cali. So he brought that guy with him.
Cool, man.
So, all right. Well, this was an awesome show, man. It was cool to hear from Derek and what he's doing now. We got some callers in. We got to talk a little coaching. We got to talk a little recruiting. We got some big-time bowl games to break down. in the next couple weeks. So I'm looking forward to it. And Coach, as always, I appreciate you, buddy. I enjoyed speaking with you today.
We had a good one today. Thank you, Nate.
All right, man. Have a good rest of the weekend, and I'll talk to you real soon. Okay.
Sounds good. Take it
All right,
easy.
buddy.